from both sides of the pond, where we say things like, get ready, bake! Express hazardous dense floor black snow. Okay, so, yeah, I don't know if you just caught that sign there. You can see some of the clouds there. I was going to spend the night in Cheyenne, which is currently where I am. I'm just on the western outskirts of Cheyenne, which is where the Walmart DC is. I think just past the Walmart DC. You go there and they keep waiting for hours. I've seen lines so long for the gate that they're stretching almost back to I-80. But anyway, so I decided to punch on a little bit further and go to Laramie. There is a Love's in Cheyenne, but there's also one in Laramie. It leaves me with about, about 25 minutes left on my 11 by the time I get there. But there is alternatives should it be full. But I'll be getting there at 16:30 local time-ish. So I don't think it'll be full. You never know, but it's unlikely. But as you can see from those clouds above, it could be some icky weather in the morning, and when we have bad weather, it always seems to be between Laramie and Cheyenne. So I figured I'd go as far as I could, get up in the morning, because I'll be doing I was going to go to Cheyenne, get up at 0400, but because I'm doing that extra hour's drive today, I'll get up at 0500 instead, and minimize the amount of time driving in the dark when we could be having inclement weather here on October the 30th, 2021, the eve of All Hallows Eve. But yeah, I decided just to take a little bigger chunk out of I-80 in Wyoming before I settle in for the night. And hopefully we won't have somebody hanging on his air horn all night at this truck stop. The clouds definitely look as though they have some weather in them, some snow. They look snowy clouds rather than rain clouds. I don't think they're going to drop anything anytime soon, but they definitely look as if they are a prelude to some bad weather. But I'm no weatherman. I am no meteorologist. I don't know. I'm just guessing. It sounds good. You can always fact check me. I have less fake news than, what was it, Today was the one that did fact checking. It says that's fake news, something Republican, and actually it wasn't. That's how you rubbish a story these days. You just imagine breaking Watergate, or a story like Watergate now, people would just jump onto Facebook and say, it's fake news, don't believe it. There was a time when news corporations reported the news, not their version of it, but never mind, they're long gone. Lots of windmills up here. It is a good place to put windmills because it's always windy. Very pretty. It looks, right where we are now, looks like Teletubby land. The hills, the green hills. I just expect Tinky Winky, Lala or Poe to jump out and say, again, and then we have to watch this really boring video once again. What do you mean, a boring video like this one? You cheeky swine, how dare you? Hello, one viewer. It just says hello, one viewer, and as I said that, the one viewer left. I really hope, and that's the trouble with doing the live videos, is it depends where you are as to the quality of video that you're going to get. I did 2 videos in the Orlando area the other day, and one of them was really good because it was beside a metropolitan area, so I had a good signal strength, and the other one was kind of in the country, and the quality was terrible. Turned the corner there and the camera left into the corner. That's the only trouble with this mount, is I can't keep the damn thing straight. I don't want a crooked horizon. But yeah. So next week the clocks go back, which is horrible because it means we have darker nights. They draw in quicker. I prefer, I would rather have a darker morning and more light on the night time, but that's just me. The whole idea was to help the farmers when the farmers needed helping and they didn't have headlights and floodlights and stuff. It's an antiquated system that I'd be quite happy to see the back of. Yes, sirree, Bob sirree, yes. Looking at the mountains over there on blue yonder, don't see any snow. I know this part of I-80 was closed last week for snow, but everything seems to have melted, including the altitude. Now, I spoke to you earlier on in Nebraska, and I said we were going to be steadily climbing, and I haven't really climbed any big hills yet, but when I spoke to you last, we were at 3,500 feet and at 6,800 feet. So we've climbed considerably, and it's hardly noticeable, but that we have done. And you can only really tell if I look at my miles per gallon, because that's gone way on down to 7 miles to the gallon for today, which that might not sound a lot, but I am almost maximum weight here, so 7 miles is not bad. If I'd have been in my old T680, I'd have been in the low sixes, 6.1 miles to the gallon, so I'm happy with that. But no snow. I was hoping to see some snow on the mountains. Not on the road, just on the mountains. Thank you very much. There's going to be plenty of time for that. I'm sure I'll be putting some snow videos in soon. Get back. I'm sure I will be. Driving in the snow. I was thinking about going to Publix dedicated during the months, which would keep me in the Florida area, Florida and Georgia. But I just can't stand those local runs and the Publix. I just didn't like it. Nah, boring. I'll stick over the road. Hi, Kilo Lima Mike Transport Services. Does anybody know what that stands for? KLLM. I guess I could Google it, but I won't. I'll forget. I'll have to find a way of roughing up get some sandpaper on where the pivot points are on that bracket to roughen them up a little bit, to give them a little bit of more abrasiveness and grip a little bit better, because they're too smooth. If I fasten it any tight, I'm afraid I'll strip the threads. That's what I'll do. I'll get a little bit of sandpaper on the points of contact and roughen them up a little bit. That should stop it from constantly tilting every time I turn a corner. It thinks it's, some kind of flight simulation because it tilts and bends. If I remember before I end the video, I'll take it off the dash cam phone adapter and show you exactly what it consists of. It's a neat little thing to allow you to use your phone as a dash cam. Just a phone holder and a suction cup, where it's really a nice way of doing the live videos. Temperatures dropping. We were up at like 65 to 69 only half an hour ago. We're down to 48 now, so we're definitely seeing a drop in the temperature, and the sun's still up, although it's now behind cloud. Whereas you can probably hear from the engine, I'm starting to chuggy and flat out at 60 miles an hour, so we're definitely going up a gradient. I've got a, if I look on here, I can go on here actually, and I'll tell you what my somewhere on my GPS. It will tell you that we're at 7,000 feet and rising. Turn into. Oh, it's probably that's why I'm using my Garmin Diesel, because my Garmin over the road is given. I documented earlier, it was giving me problems on I-40, just not wanting to go on certain sections of I-40. it's doing the same on I-80. So I've just put it back in the bag. I'm going to ask Garmin for an exchange, all my money back, and I went back to the old diesel, which is rock solid, and it doesn't have it on the new one. It has an inclinometer or whatever it is. I'm sorry, I'm sure that's not right, but shows you how what kind of gradient you're going up. That one. Inclinometer, that was it, inclinometer. It shows you the gradients you're going up, but this Garmin diesel doesn't have that on here in Teletubby land. But I am definitely going up a hill, chuggy, and now it's 7,200 feet, and a climbing. She can't take it, Captain, it's bending over a gas. Damn thing, stop tilting. Do me heating. Hello, one viewer. You're welcome. Come on in. We're currently driving I-80 just west of Cheyenne, heading to Laramie for the night. I have 1 hour exactly. You'll probably hear a warning from my sonar shortly, warning me that I'm down to my last hour of my 11. I should get there with about 25 minutes left on my 11 to the Loves that I'm staying at in Laramie in Wyoming, and that's where I'm going to spend the night. I was originally, as I said earlier, going to stop in Cheyenne, but I've seen some weather warning forecasts on the notice boards on the side of the road, so I decided to push a little bit further westwards. Temperature's definitely dropping, it's going down. It's dropped about 20 degrees in the last half an hour. I have 59 minutes left. I don't know if you got that on the microphone. But yeah, so we're climbing and we're climbing. We'll go. Laramie's just really where you turn into the mouth of the pass. So I don't know if I've ever been to this Loves before. I hope I have a nice little scenic spot where I can park and enjoy the mountains and the scenery. It is very pretty, very desolate, very rugged. But I is a climbing. Truck's now struggling at 50, 60 miles an hour. Train off to the north. You can see there. Those things are massive. Carry on containers from all different companies, but they're massive, you know, miles. I'll say at least a mile long. These are only single stack most of them. Oh, there's some double stacks there. But I wonder if that's all of the stuff that's been stuck in the ports because they can't get it off quick enough because they don't have the workers. Because now the workers have options, you see. It's either go to work and support society, or just the easy option is to stay at home and just bleed from society until it collapses. Which seems to be the preferred option for a lot of people these days. They were furloughed or laid off for COVID. They just don't want to go back to work. They've had like 6 months lying about, says, hey, this is so cool, this is much better than working. Unfortunately, you need the majority of the people working. The social fund does not stretch to having millions and millions and millions of people just taken from it and knocking out babies. At 45 at the moment. Altitude is 7,600 feet and rising. Winds are very moderate. Back in Nebraska there, it was pretty gusty. I would say up to 30 miles an hour. But because I am almost maxed out with my weight, I can handle 30 miles an hour with ease. I'd be a little bit more concerned if it had been empty, but I wasn't. Coming through these parts of the country, I'd rather be heavy than light. Absolutely. Chugging along at 58 in 11th gear. Guy a little bit of room there. I was trying to get out of the right hand lane when we've got a truck at the side of the road and cars if there's somebody working on it. If I can see somebody outside of the car, I'll move over, but a lot of the cars you see at the side of the road are actually abandoned. Yellow labels on them, yellow ribbons to indicate to the toll companies that they can take it away. "27 miles to go, and that's me done. I'm currently sitting at 614 miles for the day. Averaging 60 miles an hour, and I've dropped down to 6.9 miles to the gallon. I've been driving for 10 hours and 8 minutes. Now that 60 miles an hour, I did have to go through a couple of cities, which slowed me down, plus I did 2 stops. I went to the Walmart in Lexington. It's one of the ones that has truck parking, which is awesome. And then I stopped for fuel as well, so that kind of knocks the average mileage down by about 1 mile.